Well, guys, it is time again for another podcast where we're going to look at some of the biggest news and headlines from the last few days. Of course, before we get to it, just a quick shout out to all the members of the channel and that are part of the community who are supporting us by tossing a few bucks our way each and every month to get exclusive topics, additional discussions, gaming videos, and way more. So without showing more, we're just going to transition to the show where I can, mention some of the changes happening with the podcast. Well, here we are. After my quick intro, I said there's changes happening to this podcast, so I shall explain those in due time. Now, I introduce the man that is always here with me. That is Mitch.
You can find me in Threat Michigan Standard 2.
I also introduce myself. As always, I am here most of the time. Sometimes not mentally all checked in, but I do my best.
Aren't we all? Just like,
Yeah, just this whole thing. So people are probably gonna notice. Wait a minute. There's less of a topic here. Why is there only 4? Well, we're getting ready for some changes. As people know, starting next month, Loki and Marvel were like, we're going to change everything by dropping new episodes on Wednesdays, which completely ruins everybody's work schedule and just about everything, which I've talked to so many people being like, I really got to wake up at 3 a.m. now on Wednesdays. Like Fridays, you could kind of be like, it's the end of the week, so I'll push through. Now, middle of the week is going to be a little different, so we have to adjust accordingly, because now Wednesdays, we got to transition over to get up, do the commentaries and stuff, which means podcasts are probably going to start recording on Wednesdays, possibly after we do commentaries, or on Thursdays still, but they're still going to drop on Saturday, regardless of how we change it. So if you think about it, Wednesdays now have an extra day in there that's just low-key pretty much, because there's going to be so much happening that 4 topics make sense now, if that makes sense. Just because Wednesdays is going to be pretty much all Loki. Because we've seen with the other 2 shows how it goes. The episode drops, and then everything else comes with it. So it's like, it's there's small adjustments. I mean, I don't want to move the podcast for those that were wondering if we were going to move it off of Saturdays. No, because I know that's kind of become people's routine. I've accidentally uploaded the podcast or put it to premiere 15 minutes late twice in the last month. And people have been like, oh my God, I didn't think it was happening. I'm like, oh, okay. So people have kind of like got this into their routine now. So, I guess do our best to keep that on schedule for what it's worth. Doing our best. We'll see. Anything else up with you, Mitch, though, before we get into the proper show?
I'm on the bread and the water because I can't afford the rice and beans because I just bought that Iron Man hot toy.
Oh.
It's just like, I'm not even going to get it for months yet, but I'm like feeling it now.
Yeah.
I'm just like sitting here rocking backwards and forwards like, I need it. I want it now. I want it now.
That's the thing. Like, I ordered that. Of course I did. I ordered the Sam Wilson Captain America. And it's like estimated shipping date, November of 2022. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I don't get with her. To be fair, it's a good thing because it's like, oh, cool. I can scrimp and scrape everything I got to actually afford it when it comes out. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy.
See, I've also run into a problem now where my TV, which is about 4.5 years old, which shocked me when I found that out. I was like, all right, I got that with the PS4 Pro. Yeah, that thing is a little old now.
Well, that thing's way older than 4.5 years.
Exactly. So I was looking at it, and Shay and I were like, oh no. We turned on the PS5, we switched to the channel, and sometimes it'll just be a complete green screen.
Ooh.
And I have to restart the TV, like unplug it, replug it. And sometimes you'll now see, like, you know how you get those digital loss bars of like just flickering colors? That'll go across the screen at the bottom and like the quarter. I'm like, I think this TV's about to give out. So I have to get a new
You sure
TV.
it's just not a HDMI cable?
Oh, I tried various ones. It happens on all the channels. So, yeah. So I have to invest in a new TV in the next couple of days because Mass Effect is coming and I want to finish Resident Evil, and I'm afraid I'm going to turn on the TV and it's just going to explode. So I'm not excited.
Cool.
Yeah.
What make TV did you get?
I usually go LG or Samsung, so it's... I mean...
Not a Sony person then.
I mean, I am when it comes to consoles and stuff, but TVs, I started with like LG, and I've kind of just been back and forth with them because I know they work. To be fair, this TV that I'm currently on in my living room might get about 15 hours of use a day every single day of the year because like I'll toss on like music or something. There's like a screensaver running and the PC. Yeah. So it's like it's always on. So how much use I've gotten out of it is 100% justified that it's now probably about to crap it.
Fair.
Yeah.
So I'm always a Sony TV. If Sony made monitors for like computers and consoles, I would have gone that route, but I went for that new LG one instead. But I know a lot of people love those LG TVs.
Yeah. Well,
love them.
They are pretty damn good. I mean, they all source their parts from like the same manufacturers in China, so it's like, you know, you can't in the price range it's comparable, but yeah, you can see slight differences here or there.
So I always found Samsung quite muted in colors. He says he's got a Samsung monitor right now that he's looking at. It's just like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, it is how it is. It's always, you know, preference and depend on the model and if they set it up in the store properly and what you do with it. So there's always there's a million things. I will say though, like we've been having friends slowly come over because everybody's now got the second dose and all that. So it's been a couple of weeks now. So we're finally starting to have friends come over. You know that scene from 2001 with the apes and the monolith? I witnessed that with the PS5 because I realized that apparently I am like one of 3 people around here that owns a PlayStation 5. Like people come in, they're like,
"That's funny.
You got a PlayStation 5?" And they're like, it's sitting there, and they're like, they gather around, they're like the apes about to smash controllers. Like I'm like, all right, this thing is still like, in theory, it exists. I get it, but nobody's seen it, so it's like, man, we are lucky to have that console.
It's wild because you've got the narrative around the PlayStation. Like, oh, no one can get one. Sony's out here going like, it's sold more than the PS4. So it's like, well, how is this a possibility?
Did you see their new forecast though? Like you won't be able to get it till now. Estimates say till mid-2022 off the shelf. Another year. You're gonna have to wait.
Crazy.
Like they're selling through everything, and I can tell you to just talking, you know, distributors and all that I talk to. I've talked about them before. They let me know. Essentially, what they get is so minimal because it always sells out online that the stores don't even get physical copies because it goes online first and then store. So it's like, bro, how? Like, but hey, good news for them, right?
I would say everything right now just got a shortage. It's insane. Even like plastic metal kits, it's like, oh yeah, sorry, we can't fulfill that order because they sent us like 2.
Yep.
It's like, oh.
I've noticed that with a couple things I'm collecting. I'm like, oh man, these things really, huh? NECA figures are running into shortages as well. Like they keep delaying them, and what a damn time to be alive.
So even like Nintendo now is like, yeah, we can't keep up with demand for the Switch.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Dude, if they release that rumored Switch Pro, which is probably happening, good luck getting any Switch ever. Like,
yeah.
It's gonna be a nightmare. Damn nightmare. So it's that jet flying over again. Goddamn jets. And not the football team. I assume it's football. It's not basketball or anything. Who the hell are the Jets? Hold up, I'm gonna check this.
It's New York Jets, isn't it?
No, not the Jetsons. Why did autocorrect? Get the Jets. Wait, that's a band? What? Sports team. The Jets sport. The New York Jets. Yes. How did I not know this?
Right.
You knew that? How did you know that?
I might have seen In It to Win It a few times back in the day.
Are you secretly one of them Yankees?
Actually, is it In It to Win? No, Bring It On is what I'm thinking of. That's what. Yeah. That cheerleader movie and the spin-offs it had. Yeah. That's where I know the New York Jets from.
Oh, okay. Okay, that might make sense.
I think they were in there. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. It might just be one of those like osmosis things. They just absorbed it from somewhere without noticing.
That does happen. I like the idea that we're like, we gotta have less topics. We're gonna talk about the Jets.
Just pad it out for another 10.
We gotta hit the algorithm that I've been told we gotta hit, you know, with the podcast. So
it's just makes sense.
Buying the time. Yes. In reality, I'm just waiting for this damn jet. How far can you fucking fly? Jesus.
Well, since this jet's still here, back to that Sam Wilson hot toy, because I don't understand this.
Uh-huh.
Why is it as expensive as a bloody Iron Man? Is it just purely the wings?
It has to be the wings, right?
Yeah, like are they die cast or something? There's no way they're not if it's that expensive.
So I have Falcon from, like the Winter Soldier movie, and that one they're not die cast. So I don't know.
See, that makes sense to me because they don't look metal.
Yeah.
You know that. Whereas his new Cap ones do. So I'm wondering if they just die cast the wings and that's why it's so expensive. So I looked at it, I was just like, A, it's too big, I'd never be able to put it anywhere. And that's what she said. And B, it's just like, no. I'm not paying like 400 quid for that. I didn't even do that for bloody Iron Man. Like, God damn, come on.
Have you seen that new Iron Man they just announced before we start recording this?
Nope.
It's their 600th like hot toy ever. So it's
Christ.
Iron Man from Iron Man 2 when he's putting the suit on and the suit is on and like all the pieces.
Oh, he's got the little rings around it.
Yeah,
is
it's
that the
like,
one? Yeah.
It looks pretty damn good. I mean, I'm not gonna get it because I already have one Iron Man and I have a second one coming my way at some point down the road. So it's like, ooh, but it looks nice.
Boys. Say I'm very strictly going to be like, no, I'm going to have this version and that's it. I'm going for the one. I'm not going to sell a kidney to have an entire collection of them.
Well, some of the ones I buy, like, I follow a couple websites that do collectibles, and then occasionally they'll do like spring cleaning or fall cleaning, and they'll literally discount their hot toys and stuff by like 60 to 70% just to clear house. So I've literally gotten some hot toys for like $110. It's like,
nice.
Yo, for this $300 figure, hell yeah! Like it's a good deal. I'll send you my outlet of one of the outlets because I know they'll deliver straight to you. So.
I was gonna say, do they do international shipping?
Luckily, they're based in the UK, one of them, so you'll be very lucky. Yes. That's where I got one of my Iron Mans for like $120. I was like, oh, sweet.
Like, cause everything I've seen for the UK, like, is silly money. Like the Iron Man, like, 'cause I got the Endgame Iron Man, because why would I not ever get the classic look? In like Forbidden Planet, it's like 500 quid, and I got it for like 350, including shipping in PayPal being like, hey, exchange rates to Hong Kong dollars, extra 20 please. It's like, piss off. It's nuts. I'm just like, why would I ever go anywhere over here when I can get it imported for cheaper,
right?
And I'll get it soon. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I almost gave Shay a heart attack one of the times because like it shows up on the bill before the conversion rate. So she looked at it. She was like, "What did you order? That's 2,900." I was like, "Oh no, that's HK. You gotta convert HK to American." So she was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Look, I'm not spending $3,000 on a goddamn hot toy."
I would if I could. I ain't doing it.
Unless it's a real size suit I can wear. That's made my hot toy. I was
gonna say it'd have to be like a good, like a 1/4 scale like Hulkbuster.
Right. Yeah.
Then maybe we're talking.
Exactly. Well, speaking of that, I guess the jet is gone now, so we'll just get to the actual proper. Away with the terrible wig, in with the new no wig. Yes, Venom. Let there be carnage. We finally got something off of it. We got a new trailer that we've been waiting for. Sony finally realized maybe we should push that upload switch. So they did.
What do you mean you didn't upload it? Upload it now, quick.
Oh no. So this is going to be an interesting discussion here because first let's talk about the impressions we each had, and then we're going to talk about some of the response I've seen on the internet that goes both ways. So what was your impression of this?
That I hate that I liked it.
Yeah.
that's the way I'm at right now. It's just like, oh, I talked so much crap about this one in the last movie, and it's like, I don't hate this. It actually looked. I don't know if it's because it's just it knows what it is.
I think that's what did it for me.
Yeah, it's like it very much comes across like it knows exactly what it is, and it's just like, yeah, I'm kind of on board now.
Like, no joke, I live in a house where we have a bunch of Venom and Carnage memorabilia because my wife is super edgy 90s.
Of course.
She has a tattoo design that has Venom on it that she's going to be getting sometime. Like, she also has Spider-Man tattoos, so just so people understand. So, she watched that and she was like giddy about it. And I was watching, I was like, you know what? That opening 30 seconds tells me all I need to know.
Kitchen.
Like, Andy Serkis came in and he was like, I have just free range to do whatever I want. And then he's like,
Yeah.
I can be fully aware that this is stupid, but I can also have fun with it and put in some upgrades, I would call them, over the first film. And you definitely get the sense for that. Like, they're taking elements of what worked in the first film, but taking everything that I think didn't, where the film tried to take itself too seriously almost to a degree.
Yeah.
They're like, no. We know what we have here. Don't pretend this is some sort of high caliber cinema or something. Like, people know what they're getting, and they go full into that. So I am really on board with this one. Am I expecting it to be a 8, 9 out of 10? No. But I'm expecting it to be a 6.5, 7. You had a good time. You won't regret watching this again. And that's all I could ask for. So
I say, if I can see this movie and, finish it being like, I didn't hate that as much as the first one, it'll be a bonus.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
Same. Like, and that's when I go to the internet, which obviously the internet is the go-to source for accuracy and critics.
Of course.
So you have people that love the first one that are responding to this one negatively, saying it's lost its feel, charm, and approach by being a deconstruction of the superhero genre. I was like, were we watching the same first movie?
I was going to say, there's this weird narrative around Venom at the minute about, you got, is it Variety or Hollywood Reporter being like, oh, how it's pushing, breaking boundaries. It's like, are you insane?
Yeah.
I don't understand what reality I've woken up in, and I'm not entirely sure I like it.
Yeah, I feel like some of us got the wrong, or got a completely different trailer, and we're like all talking about different things. I'm like, what? How?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's how anyone could think like the first one's like a deconstruction of anything apart from your own sanity. I don't know. It's that movie ain't good. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. And then on the other side, I've seen the people that are like us, who are like, well, the first one exists and we chugged through it for what it was worth, but the second one looks better. And like, I'm kind of excited that there's people that are, I guess, all on board for that same reason. And again, it's Andy Serkis. Like, you could tell it's a different director. Like, it looks cleaner.
See, I'm not sure, because to me, it kind of looks like it's shot exactly the same as the first one.
There is some scenes I felt that way. There's definitely some scenes I felt that way. Like the scene where he's walking through the store. I was like, is this just a scene from Venom 1? Like, yeah. But then there are those scenes where I feel like Andy Serkis did it. Like the scene with the Cletus Cassidy about to get the injection and stuff. That to me felt like an Andy Serkis more than a... I think it was Fleischner that did the first one. I can't remember his name.
I know it's the Zombieland guy. That's about it.
Yeah, like it felt more in terms of what Andy Serkis would do just by having seen some of the stuff he's acted in and things he's done. Like it almost feels like a weird mix. It's like, Serkis, you can do your things here, but you got to keep this. So it's like, all right.
Because then the big first shot of Carnage is like, yeah, this is very much. It feels like it's just reusing the Riot CGI.
Oh God,
just tinted red. And it's like, oh.
They took the slider on the Riot CGI, and instead of putting it at plus 50, they put it at negative 50. They're like, that looks perfect, and yeah.
Take the grey filter off that they used to hide the fact that it was Carnage originally. And there you go. So don't worry, Andy. We've already done this thing for you. So I was like, what? What do you mean?
What am I directing? Just a couple of these scenes here we're tossing your way. Here you go. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I like it. There is a couple more things in the trailer that are kind of like getting people talking. Obviously, there's... How do I...
Well, there's this girl in the box.
Yeah.
And I got no idea what the hell's going on there. Is that supposed to be the Scream from the first movie that's coming back? So I'd hope they pick up on that plot point, because that was kind of just left dangling like a tit in the breeze. But
I'm waiting for a little old Chinese lady to show up. Be like, there was 3 symbiotes. I got the third one. It just took me 4 years to get here. Oh, okay.
Imagine, I forgot about that. Oh, what a movie that first one was.
Yeah.
Oh, what a movie. But yeah, I assume she's got to be some kind of symbiote, and then we don't know how Cletus gets it. We only know that he has it.
Because I believe she's Shriek, right? Is that who the character's name is?
I think it's Scream. The yellow and purple.
Yeah, and that one is
Yeah. I want to say I could be completely wrong. It's something like that.
I mean, they also confirmed like this one is gonna have like toxin is in it, like that symbiote.
Oh, don't tell me they're doing toxin as well.
Well, I mean,
how many more can they do? Honestly. We're gonna get the same movie 3 bloody times. I'm calling it right now.
I'm excited for the ending of the second movie where you just have a bunch of characters and the dialogue is, "Hey, you ever thought about being a anti-venom?" And then somebody looks at them and they go, "Hey, stop scorning us." It's like, oh, okay, so we're getting anti-venom and scorn, huh?
Someone on Twitter went, "You watched I do Toxin for the third movie," and I went, "I bet you if they do Toxin, Venom's going to have to split and become anti-venom. Because how do you defeat a toxin? You have the anti-venom. And that's going to be the third movie. But I can totally see that happening in this now.
This sounds like Avi Arad's fantasy come to life. Like
it's like he's lost control of everything. He's going to overcompensate in this movie.
Yeah.
Said no. My machines.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more later on about Venom and the future of that because there's more interesting things to get to. But overall, the impressions from us are rather positive, so I hope that the film just delivers.
The only negative I have is that they were cowards and gave Carnage a tongue.
Yeah.
You couldn't have gone for the black teeth, no tongue look. Like, whack. Everything else about him looks great, but that, nah.
Again, they just took Riot and just shrunk him down.
Yeah.
So.
It's all his Venom with more teeth, like, cool.
Yep.
So, couldn't have made him look slightly more different. Oh no, you have to completely go away with that. But at least there's the black in there. Like, he's still got like the black face and the red.
Black like the black parts on his face through the rest of his body. Yeah, so they're trying. We'll see. Hopefully, the next trailer gives us a little bit more, but in due time, we'll get. Disney's in that weird transitional period right now, which we've talked about before. Bob Iger is set to depart in December of this year, which...
Oh, is he? I believe he's gone when he's gone.
Yeah, it's... And the thing with Bob Iger is obviously he's, like, you wouldn't have Star Wars or Marvel under Disney if it wasn't for Bob Iger, and he's the one that allowed all that creative freedom and everything. Now... Along with him, it sounds like Alan Horn is also going to be leaving as well. So, two major people that have been important in everything that's happened with the MCU are officially going to be stepping out, handing over the reins to what Disney sort of, mishmashing their Fox executives and the Disney execs and all that. And a recent report by, I believe, Variety that put out, they kind of go into some of the details. And according to them, we're already starting to see some of that, cheap peck. Because people said he's a little bit on the cheaper side when it comes to productions and things. It already sounds like he's starting to cheap out on ideas and things to just be like, push profit. And it's like, oh no, that's not what we want to hear. Like, it's...
No. This was the guy that was promising like all these live performances and all this stuff in Disney World, and then I think it was in Galaxy's Edge. So, there's going to be all this. There's going to be like roaming droids and starfighters are going to like shoot across everything. Stuff opens up and there's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was too expensive, so he cut it. Cool.
And to be fair, the Star Cruiser is coming. He's got the lightsaber off the ground. We saw the video of that. Like,
it's things.
Yeah, it's coming later than anticipated, but my big takeaway was that he already seems to be, I guess the best way to put it is rubbing people the wrong way from what I got from that. Because, like, I guess he just like attended a couple of meetings, and he's like, oh, well, this is how we're doing things. Oh, well, here's how this is going to be done. And it's like, we need to wait for him to fully take over and put his stamp on things. But it sounded like there's already a couple reasons to worry. Now, I assume, no matter what, Kevin Feige will not be stepped over and somebody's going to be like, no, this is how you do it, Feige.
I'd say it's safe to assume that the whole Marvel and Star Wars side is going to be absolutely fine. He's not going to touch those.
Yeah. I mean,
and why would you? Like, I know all CEOs want to like put their stamp and be remembered and all that crap, but you don't want to be remembered as the guy that ruined it all.
I was going to say, you don't want to be the guy that comes in and goes, I single-handedly, in a span of 3 years, ruined Marvel Studios and Star Wars.
Exactly.
Oof. Like, and they already have a course, like, trajectory that they've set on with so many projects announced and people working that even if he was to say, well, all right, you got to do what I tell you now, well, that still wouldn't take effect till, like, what, 2024, 25, which by then they'll already have
he could slash budgets. He could,
yeah.
Coming out like that, and, you could do what they did with like Iron Man 2 and start putting their fingers in it, but I doubt you will, to be honest. I know people weren't great or like particularly happy with Chapek or whatever his bloody name was, like coming on board in the first place, but I don't know. I don't know enough about the guy to really form an opinion. I just heard the stories.
My biggest hope is that he says, hey, Deadpool, that whole thing, we're scaling back your budget. Max is $65 million again. Because then they could restrain everybody involved, be like, no, cheap profit. This is what I'm gonna maximize. Like, that's my hope, that he sort of like looks at some of the Fox output and goes, well, there's opportunity here, and we see what it's done. Let's work on that. Because again, like, for all the crap that people give Star Wars, they've had one film that didn't do well. All the rest cracked $1 billion. So, and that was Solo, that they dumped a week after Infinity War and a week before Deadpool. Of course, that was never going to be big.
And only a couple of months after the last Star Wars movie.
Yeah, like that was a
too close
disaster train on their part. But other than that, like, they've had a pretty good, I guess, a ground plan that they sort of set in motion, that they're just kind of like walking by, looking at it, going, hey, this kind of works. This is working in our favor. So I hope that they don't see necessity out of changing plans and ideas and directions. And we don't know. Apparently, there's also a push by him to try to unify more brands, whatever the hell that means.
What does that mean? I'm confused. What the hell is that?
My takeaway is, and he's probably like, well, why can't we have Marvel on Hulu? And Feige's like, because production would be crap. So only Disney Plus. Like, I could see him as being as the guy that wants to restore some of those ideas, being like, well, let's put 5 Marvel shows on Hulu because they have the CW over there. And Feige's like, bro, quality would sink 100%. So let's not do that.
Just get rid of Hulu.
I mean,
it only exists in the States. Who's gonna miss it?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I get my TV. But if they offer it some other way, I'll take it.
I'll tell you just do what they do over here. Make it Stars.
Yeah.
Or just make it literally part of Disney Plus. You don't need another separate thing. I know they can't do that because they don't solely outright own Hulu.
Yeah, they don't own the last 10% or whatever. So.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, just give them the 10%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it's like that, then maybe Hulu can be like the animated side for Marvel.
Right, which again, we don't know what they have ideas for and what they're trying to pull off. Quite clearly, Disney wants to be ambitious with many projects and things they're doing, and they've shown that they can deliver. Like and they're willing to look at IPs. I mean, people were like, "Oh, Disney, they're gonna ruin Fox and FX." as a matter of fact, if you keep looking at the last couple weeks and the last 6 months, FX has the most announced greenlit projects in history of Fox. Like, Disney's approving anything that sounds like a good idea or a crime show and renewing shows like Mayans, which I love Mayans. So, like, they're not going to throw that away. But
No.
I understand from his perspective, hey, can we get something Marvel on Hulu or FX?
You have MODOK and you will be happy.
Exactly. Yep.
No, apparently they're really happy with MODOK. So.
Well, good. That's
Not that I know when that's coming out, but I can't.
I have no clue. I don't know. I think it's end of May. I could be wrong. So.
I want to say it's this month sometime. I just can't remember.
Well, when we know more about the changes, we'll talk about them soon. But that's the update for that. Marvel's push to China. But this is a thing.
I was gonna say, what's this? Because I haven't heard anything about this. I've been in a daze this week. So I haven't really kept up with the.
We know how China is when it comes to speaking against the government. Let's put it that way. You know,
or lack thereof.
Yeah, like they're like, don't talk negatively about it. If you do, it's gonna be bad for you or whatever company you're working for. Yada yada. Well, obviously, every company's trying to get a huge push into the Chinese, market when it comes to releasing your films. They only allow like 12 to 14 films a year from foreign territories. So if you're Disney, you're trying to lock down typically 2, which is, if you look at Endgame, it made over $600 million in China. Like, it was huge. So
yeah.
Chloe Zhao, director of Eternals, has been very anti-China, talking about the problems. People involved with Shang-Chi as well. Obviously, it's a big ensemble cast, primarily Asian. So, from the sounds of it, the first preliminary list was released of the 12 films coming to China over the course of the next fiscal year, which obviously that's like, what is it? I think in China they deal with it differently, but it's typically spring to spring. Yeah. Eternals and Shang-Chi are not on that list. But another Disney movie was, and I can't remember what it was. So, it's looking pretty bad for Disney because, I mean,
I'm going perfectly honest. They don't need China.
I don't know. Like, it is a pretty huge market you need to crack. I mean, technically, if you remove some of the Chinese box office for some of their films, you're like, they don't need it. Like Black Panther, for example. You're like, they didn't need that, China.
I was going to say, Black Panther and Star Wars did not need China.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, you look at the Avengers films or something, you're like, oh, those definitely did the numbers they did because of China. Because it was a huge factor of like 20% of the money came from that territory. So this could go both ways. I think Shang-Chi would be the bigger loss for them. Eternals, I think that's going to have worldwide appeal more, but I think Shang-Chi's the big one because, again...
See, part of me with Shang-Chi is they're like, Simu Liu and Aquafina get so much like crap from China.
Yeah.
So, they're not good-looking people. They're not attractive. It's just like, shut up.
Yeah.
I know different standards, different cultures, or whatever, but shut up. They let them act. So I don't know if that's their approach over there to those actors in this movie, and there's the whole backlash about it being made by Americans anyway. Then would it have done anything in China to begin with? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's a weird position to be in because I understand, again, for all we know, Shang-Chi could release in China and suddenly make half its box office there. I mean, Venom did, and nobody expected it. Like, so
I mean, if in fairness, Venom was a slam dunk for the Asian market.
Yeah.
And, like, just look at the bloody thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was. It also helps that like Parasite is a thing in the minute, but
yeah,
Venom was just the sheer. Yeah, I could have told you that 20 years ago that it would have been a slam dunk in that market.
And I do also think from the standpoint of Marvel Studios worrying about it, because China is, again, if we look at their box office numbers, they're really back on track to trying to get there by the end of the year. So again, there is this huge factor in it. I don't think either one will be a big loss, but I think it could affect a couple hundred million. And again, in a time where they're coming at it in this weird position, both of these films could use all the money they could get to establish franchise potential. If that makes sense, like
I mean, they could, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to hurt them that much.
I don't think it. In the long run, I think Eternals and Shang-Chi, you're still getting sequels to these.
Yeah.
Just
I think we're at a point now where we've had nothing since Far From Home.
Yeah.
And they, stupidly kept pushing Black Widow further. We could have had Eternals by now.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been and gone. Like, it is what it is. But yeah, I think the lack of content and the fact that Black Widow is a movie. I think it's like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's relatively safe. It's a straightforward movie. It's a straightforward Marvel movie. Whereas now, like Shang-Chi and Eternals are going to be something different.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have that Guardians effect where it's going to have enough draw that I think even without China, they should be fine. Lack of content from them in general, coupled with the fact that it's brand new stuff, I think it'll be fine.
Think that's sort of where I'm at with it as well. I'm like, will it hurt not to have China? Yeah, but
I was gonna say it's always you're gonna see that there's something missing.
Yeah,
it's like, well, but you could use that and be like, well, it had this much traction in China, like we lost 200 million, therefore it's an $800 million franchise.
Right.
Yeah. Make a sequel, go.
Yeah, it's just one of these things, and I've also seen some people being like, well, could this affect future releases? Maybe. Like,
I was gonna say, who knows?
This goes back the other way as well. Imagine if Eternals and Shang-Chi come out without China, and they make $1 billion. Suddenly, theater owners look at the Chinese government for preventing these movies coming out, being like, well, if we plug in our numbers, we could have made an estimated 200 million off of each film. Suddenly the theater chains in China that were denied this film are pissed at their government. Again, so this goes all the way back around because it's a cause and effect, from both angles. So there is also the China effect of them keeping it out and then, we screwed up on that one.
If the theater owners over there get pissed at the government, then there's no more theaters. So
yeah.
They're not going to get another film anyway. So is it a loss? Who knows? You won't have to worry about that market anymore. It's done.
Yeah, it's a weird scenario to be in. I think this could have some effects on some of the franchises, but overall, look, if there's some way that they'll work this out, they will 100% work it out and make it a reality.
Yeah, and for it might even just be a case of it's not been approved yet.
Yeah, that too.
They're still a fair ways away. So,
I mean,
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
I could also see Disney doing the thing where they're like, "Hey, guess what? Yeah, we're gonna release it on like Disney Plus 2 months after." Because typically China gets a film about a month to 2 months after. Very rarely are they getting it on time or something. So they could legit time it where they're like, how about we just drop it on Disney Plus internationally for China and Asian territories?
They don't have Disney Plus in China, do they?
Aren't they pushing it by the end of the year, I thought? Unless that was plans
I mean, I could
changed.
be entirely wrong. I was just under the impression it didn't actually have.
Yeah.
Google something that China doesn't have.
Well, I mean, we'll know soon enough what the future holds, but in regards to that, when we get more, which I assume in the next couple months we'll get more definitive details once we start dropping, all the final trailers and everything, we'll talk about it, but it's certainly going to be interesting to see how this all goes. So, with the Venom Let There Be Carnage or Venom 2 trailer, we got that curious bit of dodging the question while confirming an answer by Andy Serkis, and this was the most.
Was it Serkis or was it Feige?
A combo of both, I feel like. So what we're talking about is when it came to Venom 1, if you go back and listen to what they were saying, they're like, well, no, this is its own thing. Spider-Man, he's with Marvel Studios. He's over there. They're handling that character. Then we had all that fallout that happened and everything. And now they're talking about Venom. And when he's like, well, how does this relate to Spider-Man? He's like, well, the thing is, these characters aren't aware of each other right now. Okay.
Which is got to be bullcrap because there's literally an Avengers There's there's a headline with Avengers in this thing, and
Yep.
I would have thought a reporter would have known what's on the newspaper.
I mean, I feel like they want to tell us, but they're keeping this because there's a bigger reveal coming, right? This is legit.
Or they're playing the exact same bloody game they played in the first one. Oh, you gotta watch it to find out. And of course, it made nearly like $900 million from it.
Yeah, something tells me that this one is a little bit more in tune with everything, just because
I would be surprised.
We've already seen the whole Morbius thing that has Spider-Man in it. We see it in this, like the Daily Bugle, the Avenger headline. Like, it seems a little bit too much. Like, my guess is, as we've been saying here, the multiverse somehow has got to do something.
Yeah,
here, right?
I was gonna say you watch. They're gonna pull something out like this is where Miles is, or this is where Silk is.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's going to be a multiverse scene where they cross over.
Yep.
Whether they keep them together at that point, I don't know. The whole branching timeline thing seems to be like, no, we can't keep these multiple things together. Like, variants can't stay here or whatever. But maybe after Loki, who knows? That might change. That's the impression I get straight away. But at this point, as long as Let There Be Carnage is good, they it doesn't just crap all over everything, and they can actually make a decent way of it working, I'm fine with it.
Same. Yeah, the best thing is, like, people clearly want it. We've seen people talk about it, people are hyped for it, and it's one of these things where I think there's been a somewhat change in direction of Kevin Feige accepting things that aren't part of the main things he's touched that can work in. Again, like, we kind of understand when they bring in any of the Defenders and such, it'll probably be the same actor. They'll wink and nod to it, but they're going to do their own thing. So it could work. Like, hypothetically, let's put it this way. If there was a split timeline for Civil War where they didn't recast Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield ended up showing up as Spider-Man, right? You could still do the same exact introduction that you do with Tom Holland, have it be Andrew Garfield and Iron Man, and he winks and nods to Uncle Ben and all that, and great power, great responsibility, and that film would still be the same, and it's still Spider-Man. Like, so you could feasibly do that with these pieces. Again, I believe that they're dropping these hints now, and there's more direct Easter eggs and things changing because of things that have been done. Because Sony wants Spider-Man. That's why they were like, no, we're taking Spider-Man out of the MCU because we want him to cross over with Venom.
Yeah.
Now, look, they went back to the drawing board. They have a new contract. I think it's all said and done without them saying it officially. Like, I won't be surprised if by the end of Let There Be Carnage, we see Eddie Brock. He's like, I got to take a trip back to New York. I have some unfinished business.
Isn't he already in New York in this movie?
I got the sense that it was all in San Francisco, unless I'm wrong, because the detective and the Daily Bugle is...
I was going to say, the Daily Bugle's in New York papers.
Yeah, so...
It's like,
maybe that's...
unless Daily Bugle's like a national thing.
Yeah, which they could have changed it here. Again, there's a lot of what-ifs and question marks, and look, for all we know, like, there's the wanted poster on the wall behind the detective, and it's nobody. That could literally be a placeholder, and we're going to get a reveal that that's Tom Holland's Peter Parker. We're going to be like, oh, there you go.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. Part of me feels like this is happening. We've had a couple reports that Spider-Man versus Venom will happen as a film, which, again, yeah, that's Sony's ultimate end goal, because they know that's money written all over it. Like, I don't know, it feels inevitable at this point, and I welcome it, because as long as, like you said, as long as Let There Be Carnage is good, hell yeah, bring this on. Like, bring this thing on.
They're also at a point where, Disney has a financial stake in these movies.
Yep.
So it's not all just, we're going to do this thing here, this thing is now in your thing. It's like, yeah, it's not going to work like that.
And Disney
this is our thing being put into our thing.
Mm-hmm. And as you said that, Disney also has now a distribution stake in this as well, because They're
Yeah.
getting a couple things first for distribution on Disney Plus. They're getting streaming rights to many Sony properties, and I mean, it's all kind of here. You see the pieces lining up. Like, I think it's just a matter
I
of
say, you wait. There's gonna be a black goo. Some kind of black goo's gonna come in with someone in No Way Home,
yeah.
and that's why he can't get home because it's Venom that's got No Way Home.
Oh my God, it's been a long con all along.
That's why the colors are inverted on the logo.
Dun dun dun.
And that one bit of goo's gonna split off. It's gonna be every single symbiote you could possibly bloody imagine.
I like the idea that Kevin Feige was like, hey, if we re-sign this new contract, the next Spider-Man movie is called Spider-Man Venom Maximum Carnage. And Sony was like, oh no, what are we going to call our film? He's like, I don't know, call it something stupid like Let There Be Carnage. They're like, that is perfect. And he was like, oh, that was a joke, but you guys are too stupid to realize that.
Well, I think I want to say the Spanish title for that movie is Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, it's like a translation to Maximum Carnage.
It's like, God damn it. Why would you do that? Just call it Maximum Carnage everywhere. Like, not to be fair, it's that movie's gonna make $1 billion just for Carnage alone. There's no way it doesn't. People have been wanting that guy for decades.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, see how it goes. Obviously, they're all good. Like, you know, Tom Holland and Tom Hardy are gonna meet at some point.
Yeah. That's
It's gonna be sooner or later.
a given.
Or sooner rather than later, I should say.
It's a given at this point. Like, we're mere years away from it. And again, I know people be like, oh, but it's like 3 years away. Well, guess what? Infinity War was 3 years away at one point, and now it's 3 years behind us. So what?
I say now it's 3 years away. Yeah.
It's crazy to think about that way, but it's gonna be here before we know it. And I'm just excited at the idea that like these studios are willing to work more now together than ever before to make everything fans have wanted a reality. And you know, Disney is the toy distributor for anything Spider-Man related. I know they see the Venom charts. If I can see them through somebody I talk to, they definitely got more in-depth charts. And I tell you that the amount of merchandise that the symbiotes move, I'm just like, who is buying all this? But clearly there's a fan base. So again, my wife, there's a clear fan base there.
There's two edgy demographics in our lifetime now. It's the 13-year-olds and the 30-year-olds.
Yep.
I don't know what's happened to millennials. What's gone wrong? How is this edgy phase carried on for like 20
for
more
so
years?
long?
You're supposed to grow out of that. I blame the 90s, to be honest.
Oh yeah, the edgy 90s ruined everything.
Grunge and all this stuff, like absolutely the 90s, mate. 90s are a mistake.
Yep.
Yeah, there's something's like in the water, or was in the water, or something. Because why people are still edgy at 30, I haven't got a clue. Now, having said that, the idea of Venom and Carnage hot toy is making me sweat a little bit.
Ooh.
I know Venom has got one coming out, but I'm just like, oh.
I need the one with the Spider-Man logo. Damn it! I need the logo on the chest.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm holding out.
I don't want the glistening, veiny. Oh, that sounds gross. Yeah, I don't want the glistening, veiny, throbbing Venom that he is in the first film.
I'll be honest, I kind of like the look in the first movie. It's not the Venom I would have gone for. Like, I would have changed the face a little bit, but yeah. I mean,
I love his look. I just feel like he's missing that central chest piece to make it pop. Does that make sense? You know? Like, yeah.
I still say the third movie is going to be when they cross over. And it's the third movie where the white veins just all come together.
Yeah, they pull it together. You know, that would be such a cool effect if they all just suddenly pull in and make the logo.
Yeah. They're not going to do that. Because it's going to be some other... It will just like be there for some strange reason. But if I was going to do it, that's exactly how I'd do it.
Venom just looks at a spider. He goes, oh, and then it just appears on his chest.
I mean... Cletus kills the spider in the trailer.
True.
I want to say it was red and blue as well, so... But you can look at like the old Tom Holland suit and be like, yeah, the black going over the shoulders is where the white legs would go.
Yeah.
You can really kind of see it. It's not that much of a stretch to do it, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'd be interested to see how actually his black suit would look.
Yeah, I'm interested. I mean, I'm getting excited by this. I like the idea of it. I like the sort of. I like knowing that we're gonna get Venom and Carnage fighting each other, like, and then it's gonna eventually lead to Spider-Man in this whole mix. It feels good as a fan to sort of know that they care enough to be like, oh, fans want this. Can we just make this happen? It's like, of course we can. Like, of course we can. Like,
even though it's more like fans want it, we can bleed them dry.
Oh, that's definitely it. Yeah, it's
bleed little people dry. And it's just nice to see the three of them together. They should never be separated.
Truth.
Ironic because they're literally space parasites, but.
Maybe that's what they'll call the fourth film once they all fight over the rights. It'll be called Spider-Man Venom Separation Anxiety, like the video game.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't hate it.
They could literally just start playing, like, every title is just on the nose, because they've all been on the nose. Like, Homecoming,
I mean,
it's like, come on.
They have to be. They absolutely have to be on the nose. It's part of the charm.
So what we're saying is it's going to be called Spider-Man versus Venom Corporate Warfare.
Oh, Christ, imagine.
Buy our merchandise.
Oh, dude.
I'm in, though. I'm ready to toss down all those hot toys.
No, just the idea of it's making me sweat. It's like, oh, God.
Yep.
At least with how long it's taken for the Venom one to get made, you're a good few years separated from that, so I can relax. Have the occasional fever dream about it, and then just go back to living my life.
Yeah.
That's a future me problem to deal with.
I like the post-credit scene of Venom Let There Be Carnage needs to be something ridiculous and as stupid as it was in the first Venom movie. Like, Peter Parker in school, and the janitor's like, hey, kid, you sense the venom in the air?
Oh, God.
I
don't even know where you pulled that out, to be honest.
It needs to be something so stupid. It's like, oh. Because I still remember after the first film, there was people being like, do you think Carnage is the villain of the second film? I was like, he literally chose the
Carnage
scene.
was the villain of the first movie, goddammit.
Yeah, well, I am, but.
Right there. Literally looked the same. He's made it big.
Now, I do have an important question for you, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
Does Spider-Man vs. Venom include I guess, music that slaps by the Eminem? Will it include that?
I mean, people have been making this joke about Eminem doing a Carnage song, and I'm not entirely sure how you make a song. I mean, to be fair, I tell a lie, you can actually do it, but in my head, I'm stuck with the original Venom song. I'm like, that doesn't work with Carnage.
Well, what they're going to do is remix Real Slim Shady with the Real Symbiote.
I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised.
I am sure it will do the slaps, though, as the kids say.
I was going to say, it will slap.
Yes.
It'll be straight fire.
Yes. All sorts of. It will be lit. Yes. See?
I hate the word lit.
I'm young like the kids.
How do you do, Philip?
I suppose that has brought us to the end of this show. Hopefully people enjoyed it. We still managed to hit that hour mark with totally no 12 minutes of padding or whatever at the beginning. That definitely didn't happen.
Say it's around 45 minutes. Yeah. 15 minutes of absolute nothing.
Yeah. Boy, that should be the slogan for this podcast. 15 minutes of absolute nothing. I like that.
I'll remake the YouTube banner and have it on.
I'm gonna name the episode exactly that. So like, but it says 55 minutes. Why'd you call it 15 minutes of absolute nothing?
It exists. It's there. I ain't gonna apologize.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a week, man. Now I just gotta go play that damn Resident Evil Village. I tell ya. Whew.
Oh, it's the new Destiny season, so I'm all like troning it up because they went all like Tron, that synthwave this season.
Oh,
it's cool.
That's awesome.
It's like, there's blues, there's pinks, there's purples.
Oh God, no way I can't play because my TV's breaking. I gotta go get a new TV.
I mean, you got your double monitor set up, haven't you?
Yeah, but I have to. I need TV though. I don't want to play on the monitor. Come on.
I haven't played games on an actual TV in years. It's been so long.
Yeah, and I like it just for a living room, because I like to kick back occasionally, just relax and not be in front of my monitor where I am most of the time.
Gotta separate it.
Yeah. I am having separation anxiety.
Oh, he's brought it back around.
I'm so creative.
He's brought it back around. If we can stretch this out for 2 minutes, it'll be a nice solid hour.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stretch this out for a few. So with that in mind, obviously, I guess we'll talk a little bit about the member section, which I never do. Oh yeah, I always forget the YouTube managers are like, you gotta do this. Hit that like, smash that like, smash the subscribe or whatever the hell.
I was gonna say it's smash the like button and subscribe.
Whatever, just do the things. Unleash.
What we really need is a G Fuel sponsor. Or a Raid Shadow Legends. One of the two.
Check out my Raycon headphones.
Oh, I honestly saw like a Raycon headphones advert. I was like, what? They look like crap. I ain't buying that. Yeah. I'm sorry.
What else is constantly shilled around here?
I can't even think anymore.
So here's a funny thing, right? We get emails and messages, and I reply to people, but I don't do it in the comments. Like, I'll send people a message and all that. Like, I like to keep it, closed, or talk to people in the group and everything, right? Like, the YouTube community, whatever, people are there, but they know if I respond because I respond directly to them. So I don't like to respond in the comments. It's just not my way. So I've had a couple people being like, well, why don't you guys do this or do X and Y and do this or that? And here's the thing, and I'll talk about this now here at the end of the podcast. So everybody falls into an algorithm, and when YouTube puts you into that algorithm, you don't get out of it. It's almost impossible. So let's say if you're a channel, which there's plenty of them I follow, that release like one video a month, and it's like a 35 to an hour long video, right? Their algorithm is every month, that's what they fall into. And the algorithm has put them in that, so their subscribers get that push, they get that, everything, and they have a certain sponsor or whatever. I have, and as most of you know, I pretty much don't do sponsorships on here. And trust me, with the numbers of hits we get, and I sent Mitch this and Tristan, they were like, wait, what? Like YouTube had to issue the thing where they're like, oh, all your views are not reflected on YouTube. That's been a problem for years. Like, we literally quadruple to 8 times on some things what the views are, but you don't see it. I see them because I'm like, oh, they're represented correctly, but they're not. And like, this has been a huge issue. So we get offers of people like the Raycons or whatever, right? Being like, hey, can you sponsor this or that? And my first thing is, could the people listening to this benefit from it? And 2, do I believe in it? That's why I've only ever taken a few sponsorships and not recently. And my philosophy is, we don't really need it. Like, I like to keep the channel the way it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the best thing is, like, we've had the community side of it now that opened up. So we could abandon Patreon, because Patreon was a hassle, to be real with you. And on the community side, we see people are subscribing. They're listening to the audio commentaries. And we've seen our revenue go up because of that, because it's a direct support to us through YouTube. So we're putting out the extra content on there. And to me, honestly, us getting, 3 to 4 to 5 new subscribers whenever we do a new audio commentary that become members of the community, that does more to, for lack of better terms, to feed us than any sponsorships I could take, if that makes sense, right? Like, sure, I could show you the headphones for a month, right? Cool, I got a pair of headphones, and if you got them, I get 10% of the revenue. But if you sign up for the community page, even if you do the Kind Citizen tier, which is a $2 per month, you're getting about 8 to 12 discussions or videos or gaming discussions, or me and Tristan talking about how a game performs or something per month for $2, right? And then you have the audio commentaries, which me and Mitch have been doing all the MCU ones. So you do that for $10, you get a backlog of over 100 audio commentaries we have. Plus, there's more of them. So people have realized, hey, if I just do that, it's beneficial to you because you're a member of the community and you see all the bonus content. But also, it directly feeds us and we don't have to have a show portion of the show. So my philosophy has been, hey, we'll just make more money by the fans supporting more of what we do already. And I think it's worked out pretty well because, I mean, we've seen it. So, you know, it's beneficial. It's just kind of how it goes.
My hot toy happen. Feed me.
Exactly. Like, also now, go become members because I need a new TV.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
Yep.
I need that Endgame Steve Rogers, and all I do now is sit there working out. It's like, can I actually afford this in time? I think I should be okay.
Yeah.
I should be okay. It's just like, we'll see.
It is how it goes. It is how it goes. It's the hustle, man. It's got to hustle.
It really.
That's what you got to do.
Really is. YouTube pay out more. Help me.
Yeah, legit. Come on. Stop being the slackers.
If you're not, if you're not going to show the right numbers, then you ain't showing the right monies.
Right? Yeah,
That's my philosophy on
what
it.
I need to do is move to a country that doesn't tax you, and then we'd have far better. Because like between the YouTube,
Monaco.
Oh, because between YouTube cut and taxes, you're just like, oh, like $100 you make at the end of the day after the taxes and the YouTube cut. You're like, oh, you only made $30. Cool.
Also, if someone can crash the pound, that'd be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Because I have noticed this. I was like, oh, god damn it, stupid pound, stupid dollar being worthless to me. God no, it does what it does.
Yeah, economy, kids.
Yeah.
Money, things. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've gone 4 minutes over the hour mark, but yeah.
Good. Well, I suppose now it's a good time as any to end the show. Hopefully we see you guys, like I said, in the community page. Check out all the tiers. Whatever it says there, it's probably changed substantially because I haven't updated the description. But just be aware, there is things that roll out every single day depending on what tier you're on. And they keep on rolling out. There's plenty of videos. Tristan, I have a Q&A ready from him that's coming up soon. So, yeah, it's good. Go check that out. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Hopefully we burn enough of your time on this fine Saturday afternoon when this goes up live. Thursday if you're a member of the community. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. And as always, let there be carnage.
I've just remembered that we got to do the Snyder Cut again this week.
I got the shot didn't work. Help! I need to go back in.
It's just like, oh yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah.